Ladies and gentlemen, LAS community, we are back for another lock-in episode. We are season 3, episode number 2. This is the LAS lock-in show. We are back with a new guest. We're excited to start talking about LAS with all of you. Of course, thank you all for watching. We've been noticing a lot more engagement with the show, and we appreciate it. Hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes. We are, of course, very excited to be recording these for all of you. Season 3, as I said previously. I can't believe we're in Season 3 already. It feels like we just started this thing. But anyways, let's get right into it. I am, of course, VRG Macklin, and I am joined with my co-host, of course, VRG Pac. How are you, sir?
I'm great, dude. Episode 2, ready to get cracking down on it. Got a lot of excitement coming.
Oh yeah, we got lots to talk about today. It's going to be a good one, I got a feeling. We are joined with a very special guest today. Probably a familiar face if you've seen past seasons in LAS. We are joined by Gemini. How are you today, Gemini?
I'm doing good. I am pretty hot because it's pretty hot today outside. I went for a walk earlier and I was kind of sweating bullets before the podcast, but aside from that, I'm doing pretty good. Just mad chilling with my animals.
There you go. Well, it's gonna be a pretty cool down episode. We're gonna talk a lot of bit about stuff. So we have time to just chill out, talk about LAS, and have a good time. So, with that said, we're gonna get to know you a little bit. So, do you want to give a little introduction of yourself before we get into some questions?
Sure. So obviously my name is Gemini in League. My IRL name is Brandon. I started League in around the time that the champion Varus was released, which I think was about season 2.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. So I've been playing for a hot minute. And then, yeah, I kind of swapped between various roles before finally landing on ADC. The part that I love about ADC is that it's its own survival horror game. So I'm kind of playing, I get a 2-for-1 deal when I play League now. But before that I was playing mid for actually another team before I joined the LAS teams. So I kind of bounce between the two roles every so often. But aside from that, yeah, that's pretty much my whole life story, I guess, for League. It's up until about season 10 or 11 was when I started branching into the more competitive side of it. I just hardcore play ranked before and that was it, but now it's like the team dynamic just kind of makes it way better.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Ranked is obviously a lot of fun for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people like to grind it out, but me personally, I like to grind ranked. You know, it's fun. It's fun to just kind of go in there by yourself. But at the same time, I really do like the team aspect. Like LAS, I think it's the perfect environment for that. It's just something about growing with a team makes you enjoy the game like way more than just by yourself. Because it's a team game, you know. You want to play with people that you're used to playing with. A lot of people do enjoy it that way. But it's actually kind of interesting that you like ADC because of the genre of games that you like. It's kind of like just, you know, you actually ADC marksman usually you like to just, you know, shoot stuff and defend against stuff, but I imagine it's a lot of fun when you're up against like stuff like assassins, kind of, because like an assassin zombie jumping at you and you got a gun to shoot him off or something.
Well, like the thing is like if you're like playing like Trundle and you're like just like cruising around the rift, you're like, hit me with your abilities, I don't care, I'll just heal it all back up. Whereas ADC, you see like a Zoe paddle star coming at you, you're like hovering that flash button so quick, like you're like, everything can kill me. So
I like it. All right, so we're gonna get into some questions for you. I'm gonna start lobbing them at you, starting with number 1. So, question 1: how did you find the LAS, and how long have you competed here in this league?
So I found the LAS through a Facebook post, I believe. It was either a Facebook yeah, it was a Facebook post because the old team captain for Chaos, I think made a Facebook post there, and that's how I just like sent a DM. I'm like, yo, I'm kind of interested, like, and then they sent me an application and I filled it out like 2 minutes later. They got me in, and then I did like a tryout. So then I joined, I don't know, it was, what season was that? I think I was season 2 of the LAS I joined, I think. And then, so yeah, I played ADC for Season 2. And then unfortunately with my new job position I got just shortly after Season 2, I had to take a step away from the scene just because I didn't feel like I was going to get consistent time off my job, where I was like working either 8-hour days, or at a flip of a switch I could have been working a 13-hour, and plus I was traveling for work. So it kind of made it awkward, and I kind of took a step back. But now that I'm assuming a different role where I'm just working a standard 8 to 5 working from home, I was able to come back and be a part of the LAS again. What was the second part of the question?
So the second part is, how long have you competed in the league? So I'm assuming.
Oh, so just the one season so far.
Okay.
It was actually it was more like 1.5 seasons. So I played like a little bit more into the next season, but then I was like, all right, I gotta dip.
Yeah. So we're Season 5 right now. If you joined in Season 2, that would be
maybe a Season 3 then.
Like
Season 2 or Season 3.
Okay. So probably like 2 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, it was
But
about
you
2
did play in
seasons then.
Season 4 a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it was about that. Yeah. And then I had to take a step back.
So a majority of the league.
Majority of it. Yeah. Time is a weird concept for me right now. It's just like.
And the way we do seasons here is it's usually we do 2 seasons a year. Usually.
Right.
We
Yeah.
have
So.
like a spring season and then a summer season that extends into winter. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's probably what kind of confused me. I was thinking about like LCS for a second, probably.
Yeah.
How it takes forever. Yeah.
Yeah. I think our seasons are kind of longer than theirs, no?
A little.
I mean, our was it the current season we're in is like what, like around 4 months? Covers the span of 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little longer than theirs. Hey, let's go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Second question is going to be about the previous org that you played for. So here in the LES, we of course have the org MNG, one of the founding orgs of this league. So I want to know, how was your time playing for MNG, and were there any players you really enjoyed playing with?
Yeah. So MNG was a great time to play with. I learned a lot just in general about not just my role, but pretty much how to play the game out, and I learned a lot more strategy just being able to play with the team and being like coached on certain dynamics of the game, where when I was just playing solo queue, it was just kind of like, yeah, go nuts. But yeah, MNG was a great experience just for, I guess, the learning basis of it. And the players I got to play with were just exceptional. Like, I played with, I think everybody knows him, Gimgoon. Him and I, if we were playing together, we're usually dominating the Rift together. He was either top or mid, and of course I was ADC. And there's multiple games where him and I would just pop off together and just storm games across. And him and I had a really good relationship. We'd always flame each other for doing like stupid crap in the game. Like there was a time where I was like not necessarily bored, but I was just like for funning it. And one point where like I think we aced the enemy team. Don't know which team it was. I can't remember, but I just like ran up to Dragon Pit and flashed over the wall just so I could take Dragon. There's no reason for it. and then Gimgyu just like spam pinged me like, what was that? So there's him. There's and then my support Laos. I really enjoyed playing with him as well. Him and I had a lot of time to get a lot of synergy in together, and so it's unfortunate that we're not playing together again. But him and I were pretty good duo in the bot lane for sure.
Yeah, we all know Gimgoon, I'm sure, as some of us call him Gimme. You know, he joins one of the calls, Gimme.
Gimme.
So yeah, that's good. Yeah, you know, MNG has been around since the beginning. They have a lot of teams. They gradually just added more and more. So it's good to hear that the experience there was good. And of course, I've played with Gimme before, not on a team, but like in like normal games, and he is a blast to play with. So I'm sure that was a good time.
It was, yeah.
So next question. So this is a bit of a long one, so kind of buckle up for this one.
Okay.
So the last game you played at LAS was Grand Tournament Season 4 against Espionage. This was May 15th. So this was around 3 months ago, since you've been in the scene. So question is, how did you spend your time outside of the league, and what made you want to come back? I think you kind of already touched on that about your work situation, but is there any,
Yeah.
you want to go into that a little more?
Sure. So, I guess in the off time, I was just kind of screwing around. Like, I kind of gave, when I dropped back out of the LAS for that time period, and I also dropped out of the league. So, I kept a in touch basis and update with it, like kind of just how the LCS teams were doing, and I was also like reading patch notes, even though I wasn't even playing the game. I was like, oh, what's this? And I was seeing like Nyla come out, and I was like, okay. And so I was still keeping in touch with the game, even though I wasn't playing that much, and I just wanted to kind of keep, because I've been playing the game since the dawn of time, pretty much, and so it's really hard to just kind of step away and not keep a finger on it, like a tab on it. So aside from that, when I wasn't playing the game, I was just like shooting, just like playing shooters and stuff like that, just like random games to fill the time when I was like too dead to play League, but had enough energy to just kind of screw around. So I was playing like games like Call of Duty, which I will say is probably way more toxic than the League community ever will be, because apparently my mother has done some crazy stuff that I haven't been aware of.
Your mother?
Yeah, like everybody knows my mom on Call of Duty.
Of course. I thought you were alluding to the fact that
I was like, wow.
gamer. I was gonna be like, hang on, I might have to add a question here.
No, that's the go-to for all those 12-year-olds that play the game, right? So, so I was playing that, and just like a bunch of random Steam games, just like low brain power needed games that I could just fill the rest of my time with, and so that's just kind of what I've been doing in the off season. And then I got the word that I was like going to be working from home and stuff, so I was immediately I was like, holy crap, like I can return to League and actually like play the game again. And then I reached out to some boys, and I think it was Ghost of the West who was like, hey buddy, how you doing, you want to play? And I was like, oh yeah. So I hopped on VRG.
Yeah,
absolutely, and I'm pretty excited. So
that's actually perfect, because that has to do with my next question. So cat's out of the bag, you are now on VRG. We are very excited to have you, of course, so welcome first of all.
Thank you.
So actually, that, like I said, leads into the next question perfectly. So you are now back competing in LAS. This is season 5. Come back just in time for the start of season 5, and have joined VRG Warriors as ADC. So my question is, what are you most excited for playing under the VRG banner, and what are your season 5 goals?
So playing under the VRG banner, there's a couple things I'm excited about for sure. So number one is being able to see how another team plays. So I'm pretty excited to play with these players and see and like feeling how they play and what kind of compositions we can formulate together and stuff like that. I'm kind of excited to see that other new player dynamic, right? Just like fresh start, I guess, fresh page, seeing how that goes. The second part of my excitement is being able to absolutely mop the Rift with MNG as my mop head.
The M stands for mop, of course.
Absolutely. I am just fired up on all cylinders about going against my old teammates. I think most of them have scattered to different teams, so I'm gonna have to snipe them. And so since they're all spaced out, I'll have to smash each and every one of them across various games, but
Gemini sends his regards as the Nexus explodes. So that's like the perfect narrative in terms of like LCS or LEC. You leave a team and then you compete against them, all the players are going to say the same thing. You want to beat your old team. That's a pretty common thing that players feel when they play against their old team. So that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I got mad respect for all of them, but of course, when I see them on the Rift, I gotta flex a little bit. They'll probably 5-man power dive me bot, so it's.
You should say in the chat like, hey, you guys dive me. Here's a challenge. Dive me during this game or y'all suck.
I will all chat every single time.
Alright, so we have one more question for you, then we're going to change topics a little bit. But the fifth and final question I want to ask you is about League in the LAS in general, basically. So the question is, what do you see as the leading attribute to a team within LAS? So for example, do you think a strong jungler or a support that roams and secures ganks is like the most important for like a team's success in the LAS specifically?
In the LAS?
Doesn't have to be jungler or support. It can be whatever you think is like the most impactful that leads teams to get wins.
I honestly, since being on a team and learning more about the game and dynamics and stuff like that, I think jungle and support are two of the most important roles to securing wins. Jungle and support are the two that are looking at the map the most. Right? They're like support, they're not necessarily AFK, but they're not farming, right? They're not worried about CS, they're not worried about, I gotta rush this item, or gotta rush that item. They're looking at the map a lot more, and they're able to see movements a lot more. So maybe they can communicate to their team like, hey, I'm gonna roam mid, and jungle can pick up a kill there, right? So they're if the support is really good at knowing how to shot call for that, the rest of the team just kind of follows suit. I've learned because as an ADC, I'm just tunnel visioned on like, holy shit, I gotta last hit this cannon minion, right? So I'm not constantly focused on how we're gonna roam. So I think support and jungle kind of like collaborating on like shot calling is one of the most important things to secure wins, and especially in the LAS.
Yeah, because a lot of it is meta dependent usually. I mean, we're not. I mean, obviously we're not all competing in LCS. Like, there's professionals, but here in the LAS it's a lower elo, so we kind of do things a little bit differently, obviously. But I do kind of agree with junglers and supports being probably the backbone of every team. I always like the analogy of chess, how it's like the junglers and the supports are kind of, I mostly say it for the junglers, but it's kind of the same for support. They're moving the chess pieces on the board. Like having them be the shot callers is definitely vital for a team's success. But yeah, because they're not, I mean, junglers obviously do farm their camps, they get gold, but for supports, they're not seeking gold, they are seeking information, they're seeking vision, they're seeking picks, stuff like that. So it's very interesting because every role in League, there's a different mindset for each role because you're all doing something different. You're playing in different parts of the map, except for support being with ADC in the beginning. You have different goals. You want to help others fulfill their goals to get farther in the game. So it is kind of interesting that you also think that jungler support is most important. Pac, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I think we can all agree that those are probably two of the most important roles, at least in LES.
Yeah, I would say importance. I mean, when it comes to simplicity, you could definitely say support is the easiest role in the game, but at the same time, you do have a task to fulfill as the support, whether it's hitting the stuns, getting the kills, objectives, etc. You're basically the jungler's assistant in a sense, and that's especially within LAS. Not necessarily in solo queue, because as a support, if you're just queuing up by yourself for that, then you're just basically focused on what can I do for my ADC in order to get them ahead. But when it comes to the team collaborative sense, you're able to definitely get a lot of coordination between the jungler and the support at all stages of the game, but mostly early and mid game, because that's definitely the collective part of when you're trying to build your lead and stuff like that. Not necessarily late game unless it comes down to the nitty gritty objective toss-ups and stuff like that. So
yeah,
definitely agree with his.
Every role has their importance, of course, but when it comes to fundamentals of the game, jungle support, they just dictate the course of the game because like I said, every role has their duty, but to extend the game forward, it usually falls upon those two people. Obviously, like, top and mid are solo lanes, and they want to, I mean, their job would be essentially be rocks of the team, so like, you know, don't fall behind, try not to die to ganks, stuff like that. And in the meantime, you have your jungler, you know, moving around the map, and same with the support, like establishing vision and stuff. So yeah, I think we can all agree that those are definitely two roles that dictate the pace of the game, at least in the LAS for sure. All right, so we're going to be changing topics. As said before, we're going to be moving into the bulk of our show. So as you all know, we did just pretty much, we're actually already halfway done with regular season, as we did finish Heat 3 last week. Heat 4 does kick off this Sunday. So with that said, on a previous episode, we did have a segment called the Pac and Mac Top 10. So we are going to be diving into that a little bit, and of course Gemini can chime in as he sees fit. But for a quick reminder, for those who don't remember, we're going to each read our top 10s and see if we're close at all, because we did cover teams in different divisions, so it's obviously a little harder to see how close you were. But the top 10 that we put were basically, we power ranked 10 teams that we think are the top 10 in the league. So my list specifically was at number 1 to 10 was Team Empire Gaming in the Warriors division at 1, Team Power Rangers from the Warriors at 2, BPG Mayhem at 3 in the Monarchs. Number 4 was MNG Direwolves in the Masters. Number 5, VRG Titans in Legends. Number 6, Espionage in the Masters. Number 7, Cog Plutus in the Warriors. Number 8, Rivals in Legends. Number 9, Simply Built Different from the Conquerors region. And finally, my number 10 was BPG Sapphire in the Champions division. So do you want to remind people of yours, Pac?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the divisions coordinated with them are, but there are a lot of repeats.
Yeah.
I had Titans as my number 1, VRG Titans. Number 2, Empire Gaming. Number 3 was Espionage. Number 4 was Power Rangers. Number 5 was Cog Plutus. Number 6 was BPG Sapphire. Number 7 was Synergy. Number 8 was Simply Built Different. Number 9 was Odyssey Gaming, and number 10 was Eden's Desert Rose.
Okay. All right. So I think the way we can tackle this is maybe we could start with like the top. Let's start with like the top 3 of each of our lists and kind of go from there. So let's take a look at mine. So I had Team Empire Gaming and Team Power Rangers at 1 and 2. So let's see where they are in the standings right now, because they are both from the Warriors, and they are. All right, so Team Empire Gaming right in first, and I ranked them first in the top 10, so that's pretty accurate with that, as well as Power Rangers are tied for second, and they are also the second in my top 10, so that's pretty close. My number 3 is BPG Mayhem in the Monarchs division, so let's see where they are right now. BPG Mayhem, they are in first at a 6-0 record, undefeated. Okay, so I think my list is pretty. It's like I said, they're in different divisions, so it's kind of hard to like give yourself like a score of any kind. But I also have MNG Direwolves and Masters at number 4, and they're also first in their division. My number 5 VRG Titans are also first in their division, so mine's looking pretty good so far. How do you think yours is faring with how you put yours? 'Cause you have some different teams.
Yeah, so I have Titans in first, currently 7-0, so that's fine. I was right on that one. Warriors, I have TEG, which is also in first place at a 6-1 record. Then I have Espionage, who is currently needing to make up a game, but is 3-3, fourth place in their division.
So for them, I have them at 6. So I believe they're kind of in the middle of the pack in the Masters with that record. They do have, like you said, a rescheduled game, so depending on how that'll go, I mean, that might sway how things are a little bit. But where did you have Espionage on your list?
Third.
Okay, so you had them third, I had them 6th. They are in the middle of the pack of their division, but they are a pretty solid team, so I would say we're both pretty close on that. I mean, we have them in our top 10, so I think that's a pretty fair assessment of them right now.
Yeah, all my other teams are either first or second in their division, so mostly second, but...
Okay. So how about we touch on the final parts of our list, going from like maybe 5 and below, or 6 and below. So obviously my 6 was Espionage. So I'll talk about my number 7, which was Cog Flutus from the Warriors division. Let's see here. Cog Flutus, they are 3 and 4, so they are in a three-way tie for 4th. So they are in the middle of the pack, and I had them below some others on my list. I had them as the 7th best in the league, so I'd say that's pretty close. I mean, the farther you go down on the list, if it's a team that's like middle of the pack, I would consider that pretty close. My number 8 was Rivals in the Legends division, so let's see what they're Rivals are also 3 and 4, so I'd say, you know, kind of getting there in the power rankings for sure. Simply Built Different from the Conquerors division, they, I believe, are at the top. Yeah, 5 and 1. I had them at 9, so that was pretty close. And my finally, number 10 BPG, Sapphire from the Champions division. How are they doing? They are tied, or no. Yeah, tied for 2nd, 4 and 3. They're my number 10, so I kind of like how my power rankings are looking so far. As I said, it's pretty difficult to go over 6 different divisions with the top 10, but how do you think your bottom 5 of your list are faring?
So I actually have as my 6th instead of your how you have your 10th. My 6th is actually BPG Sapphire. So first place in that second place in that respective regard. What else do I have? I have Synergy. So Synergy right now is currently where am I? Blah blah blah.
5 and 2. Yeah.
Tied for 2nd. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I have that. Then I have Simply Built Different from the Conquerors division, also in 2nd. Mm-hmm. Then I have Odyssey Gaming from.
They are in.
I want to say Champions, maybe? Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Legends Division
Legends,
tied for 4th place. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a little interesting on my part, but at the same time, they are tied for 4th, so anything can happen with that 4th place standing, if not that 3rd place standing. Mm-hmm. And then I have Eden's Desert Rose, which is currently 1st in their respective division, I'm pretty sure, which is, the Conquerors division, 6 and 0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Eden's Desert Rose, 6 and 0. I actually did not have them on that list, so that's definitely a point towards where you're going with that. 6 and 0 in Conquerors, doing really good, right behind or right above Simply Built Different, another team that we had on both of our lists. So I think, considering we're halfway through the season and there's still plenty of games to be played, I'm pretty comfortable in saying that our power rankings were pretty accurate for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially I think our top 5 is also pretty close to where teams are right now. So yeah, I think pretty good assessment of all the teams so far. We're now going to talk about. We're going to kind of quickly go through each division. Obviously, there's 6, so we won't spend too much time on it. But I think we should start at Masters. So now, what I want us to do is I want to quickly go over who we think would be the top 4 from each of the divisions, and we'll go around one at a time. So you guys when do you want to kick off who do you think will finish top 4 in each division?
Let's hear it, Gemini.
Starting with Masters?
Yeah, starting with Masters. And there are a few rescheduled games that will be played, so it might be a little tricky in this region, but do your best where you see the things shaking out properly.
All right. Well,
I think one of them might be a little easy.
One of them might be obvious. Probably Dire Wolves, I would say, is leading the Masters division by quite a large margin, not taking a game down. But Roar, wait, is Mad Roars the same as?
I believe it's their 2nd team.
Oh, the 2nd team. Okay,
yeah,
so it's a little bit different.
Another Roar team. Yeah.
Okay. I want to think that Cog By will actually go above Roars.
Okay.
That's my prediction. Espionage, I believe, will also. Maybe there's something they'll figure out, but in my time with the LES, Espionage has always kicked themselves off from being kicked down, or picked themselves up from being kicked down, and has usually secured like at least a 2nd place spot, if not 1st. They've had a track record about that. So, and then I think Roars would end up in 4th. So that's just my prediction for Masters. I think there's going to be an upset.
What do you think,
So what I had for Masters, I had Direwolves first. Similar to what Gemini was saying, pretty much. But I had Cogby in second. Then Espionage picking themselves back up in third, and then Mad Roars finishing fourth.
Okay, so we all, so far you two have what's first, second, third, and fourth as the top four, basically.
Yep.
So from going first to fourth, I do think Direwolves are going to finish first, so that's that. I think that Espionage is probably going to make it up to second, with Cogby Week remaining at third. And I think that, so how the top four teams will finish? I mean, we're halfway through. There are rescheduled games, so I could be wrong on this. I think all four of the top four, as of right now, will finish top four, probably. But I would go from first to fourth: Direwolves, Espionage, Cogby Week, and Mad Roars. For that. So let's jump over to Legends Division. Let's see. So we're halfway through. How do we think things are going to finish? I think that VRG Titans are probably going to finish first, as they are clearly cruising through their division pretty well, still undefeated. I think Astral Knights will definitely hang on to second. I think Chaotic Esports is probably going to squeak by Mint Gaming Vanilla. I think Chaotic is going to finish third. And I actually think that Rivals is going to move up to fourth. I think that they've lost some pretty well-fought games, but I think they're actually going to make the top four. So I think Titans, Astral Knights, Chaotic, and Rivals for top four for Legends.
Okay. I pretty much had the same exact order, except the last pick I'm actually going to put Mint Gaming Vanilla right in there. I think Chaotic Esports is going to be able to make their bounce back into third place, but at the same time, I think Mint Gaming Vanilla is still going to keep themselves up, but not to the likes of them as far as Chaotic Esports, and then Titans storming the rest of the way through, hopefully undefeated, and then Astro Knights picking up that second place.
What do you think? What do you think of your Gemini? MNG Chaos, your old team? I know not all of them are there, but what do you think of that?
Chaos definitely has their work cut out for them, I should say. Mm-hmm. Some changes for that maybe, but as for the top four, so yeah, I think Titans will still remain in first. I think even maybe Astral Knights, if anything, might take a game off Titans if that's the case, if they have a game coming up against them, maybe. But even so, they'd still be tied for first, right? So, I don't know. That would be an interesting game. I don't think a whole lot of movement would happen in the top two. As for third and fourth, that's where it's really going to get spicy, where these two teams actually have a lot to fight for, and there's a lot of difference that could happen in the next few games for those two teams. And same with Odyssey Gaming and Rivals. There's a big chunk of what like stuff that could happen. So I think Odyssey Gaming might make a comeback, but I think Mint Gaming Vanilla will stay in third, with maybe Odyssey or I don't know. I've never seen these two teams play before.
Yeah, right.
But Odyssey has a cool logo, so I'm gonna say Odyssey goes fourth.
Cool logo will definitely yield more wins, I'm sure.
Exactly. It's like putting flame stickers on your car to make it go faster.
Wait, that doesn't work? Does that work?
Yeah,
I thought it did.
Oh, perfect. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's like 5 horsepower a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump over to Warriors for top four. Now, Warriors is a little interesting because some of them are pretty close in the standings. I think for my top four, I think Team Empire is definitely going to hang on to first. They are a very strong team, made a few changes in the offseason, and they are definitely off to the races in this season. I think that Team Power Rangers is going to finish second, and I think Synergy is going to fall behind them, securing third. Now, as far as the fourth team goes, so we're halfway done. We've got half of the season left. Now, I am going to put VRG Warriors in fourth because I heard that they got a new ADC that I think is going to bring them to top four.
Yeah, this ADC
For real?
coming in.
Yeah,
he's really gonna clean up the bot lane here
Yeah.
and just and just lots of jobs. No.
Yeah, this is my genuine prediction. I mean, I keep up to date on all of these teams, and I do think you joining them is definitely going to get them over the hump to that first place spot. I think that's definitely a solid guess for me for sure.
Well, I guess like depending on, I don't know what team, say for instance, Laosho would have went to. I don't remember what team he went to, but he would be pretty much the only one, aside from Gimgun, who would have inside information on what I play and how I play. But looking at these teams, right? So if I am helping Warriors to get back into fourth, Plutus and We Go Next have zero idea how I play, who I play, and just like my overall game knowledge. So like, if I'm going against these two teams, they're gonna have their they're gonna get mopped.
What do you think, Pac? What's your top 4?
Hold on, I'm just changing one. Okay, there we go. So my number 1 is Power Rangers.
Okay.
I think they're gonna come and take Empire right from under their feet, but not too much because I have them at second place for Empire. Then Synergy in third. I think they're gonna do pretty good. I have liked them since preseason, so definitely got to keep my eyes on them. But then I think out of the three-way tie for fourth, Cog Plutus will come out on top.
So I didn't hear you say Team Empire Gaming. Do you think they're not going to finish?
Oh yeah, I said they were my second place.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So, yeah, Power Rangers, Empire, Synergy, Plutus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the toughest part about here is definitely who will get the fourth spot, as we have 3 tied teams for that. But I mean, MNG Cataclysm, BBG Emerald. Hey, anything can happen. We got half the season left, so we'll have to wait and see.
Sure.
Let's go on to champions. Top 4 for champions. Let's see. So we got how the standings looking? So we got a few ties for second and a few ties for fifth. So here's how I see this. I think that BPG Sapphire is actually going to finish first. They've been looking pretty good. I think the B team is going to secure second. They have first right now, but I actually think BPG Sapphire might surpass them. So I have BPG Sapphire, M&G B team. I'm going to put COG Coin Flip in third. I'm pretty confident about that. And as for fourth, so let me think. So we got half the season left. I'm actually going to put Desired Result for fourth because I've been keeping an eye on them. I think their games have looked pretty good. So my top 4 is probably going to be BPG Sapphire, MGB team, COG Coin Flip, and Desired Result because they're pretty close in the standings. I mean, from 5th to 1st is only a 2-game difference, and we have plenty of games left, so that's I think about it.
Okay. Well, I pretty much have almost the same exact thing. I have PPG Sapphire at first, MNGB team at second, Coin Flip at third, but I have MNG Rose being able to take that fourth spot.
Okay. Could be Gemini.
I'm gonna say, yeah, it's all really close.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty explosive in the sense that the whole top 4 could change, even 5th and 6th, in a matter of games, right? So, I'm gonna go with MNG B team first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go MNG Rose. No, BPG Sapphire second. COG Coin Flip third. MNG Rose fourth. Okay. With maybe 5th and 6th. Oh god. Okay, wait. That's like a 3-way tie. Never mind.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna get if one of us is gonna be way off, it's definitely gonna be from champions because I mean from 1st to 8th, that's a 3-game difference. That's basically a super heat. So if MNG B team were to drop more games than win them, and Bonjour won more than lost, they could easily shoot right up. And that's if it's a super heat, that would just be one week, and that would leave 2 more weeks of games. So yeah, this is definitely a really tough one to call. But,
yeah.
Well, we'll keep moving on to the Conquerors division. Let's see how things are shaping up there. So I'm gonna confidently say that Eden's Desert Rose is gonna hang on to first They have not lost a game. I think it's going to be a while until a team defeats them. I don't know if they've played Simply Built different yet, but let me actually check if Eden played Simply Built different, because those are the top two teams. I kind of want to see if they did beat Simply Built different. Let me look.
Yeah, Eden Rose
They
beat
did,
Simply
yeah.
Built different.
Heat 3, Eden's Rose did beat. Okay, so
They play each other this Sunday as well.
ooh, okay.
As the first game.
So I'm just gonna straight up say that I do think Eden's Desert Rose is gonna hang on to first. I think Simply Built Different has a firm grasp on second, so those are top two. As for third and fourth, it's looking pretty rough for TDS United and Glacial Spectre. Obviously a pretty rough start to the season, but half the season down, other half to go. I think they could definitely make some ground. It's going to be hard, but I do think that MNG Moon has been looking really good lately, and I think that they're actually going to hang on to third, with Uwu securing fourth. I'm pretty confident of that.
And I have the same exact top four. Eden's Rose at first, Simply Built Different at second, MNG Moon at third, and Uwu at fourth.
All right, Gemini, what do you think?
I'm gonna go against the tide and say Simply Built Different takes a game off Eden's Desert Rose and secures either first or tied with first.
Okay.
I'm gonna say MNG Moon goes third with Uwu in fourth.
TDS United, Glacial Spectre, you got the time. Prove us wrong. Make that climb. You still got plenty of season left. Good luck to all. We're going to move on to the Monarchs, the final Division 2 cover. Wow. Okay. BBG Man, yep, still 6-0. Homie States of America, 5-1. So, here's what I'm thinking here. I'm going to keep BBG Mayhem at first. Going to keep Homie States of America at second. Now, I'm going to think New Wave Paradox is going to secure third. I kind of think that they can get second, but I think Homie States of America has just too far of a head start. So I'm going to put New Wave Paradox at third. I did see their stream game. That was a very dominant win that they had. They are a new team that did take, I believe they took an 0-2 record. I could be wrong about that, but they did join late in the season, so they did start off with a few losses because they took over a team that left's record. So I think that they're going to secure third, and I think MNG Anguish is going to secure fourth.
Alrighty. So for Monarchs, I have BPG Mayhem taking first, Homie States of America taking second, and then MNG Anguish. They're going to be taking third, and then New Wave Paradox is going to keep their rally going with taking fourth place in my picks.
All right, Clown Gaming taking first.
Oh.
Yeah, Clown Gaming is gonna take first. BPG Mayhem second. Homie States of America third, and I'm gonna say MNG Anguish fourth.
Okay, well, anyone from Clown Gaming that is listening to this, you got your number one fan right here. I mean, my team's still looking for their first win too. So I think the second half of the season is definitely doable. So.
Look, Clown Gaming, I have absolute and utter faith in you to absolutely dominate. You just have to believe and take yourself there.
That's right. Yep. Make that climb. I mean, finishing first, hey, I believe in you guys too. I like your logo. I love the name, Clown Gaming. I want to see that in Grand Tournament, so best of luck to you guys looking for your first win and definitely making the top 4 of the division. So, we're going to be winding down the show now, but first we're going to answer some questions that we have in Lock-In Show Questions. I made an announcement a little bit ago about asking players from teams to give us some questions because I like more community engagement. We want to hear from you guys, and we have a few questions to go over. So, one of them stuck out to me from Doki FTW asked what team looks good on paper but is just performing disgustingly bad. So it's a little, I don't want to say it's a harsh question because so basically what team has a pretty good roster on paper, but is just not fulfilling expectations, I'd say.
Just not
Boosted Bonobos.
Boosted Bonobos.
Yeah, they
Okay,
got
from
Vincent.
Masters. Yeah, they
Everybody,
do have Vincent.
everybody loves Vincent. They're always like, best mid NA. Oh my god, I love LAS and I want to be on Dire Wolves. And then he goes back to Boosted Bonobos. But no, Triton's been on our team the whole time. We have the best mid laner, no problem. So, I think.
So you would say boosted for your answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bat. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Besides that, I would probably say ABB because how they've always been is like the mid to high tier team within the Masters division. They're currently 1-6. I didn't even know that. That's kind of wild to see.
Well,
I'm gonna try and think of other ones, but if you guys have some spice,
the second part of
please put it
that
in the
question
kitchen.
says performing disgustingly bad. I won't read the rest of the question, but you know, not playing good. Okay, let me look around at these teams because there are a lot of new teams, so I'm not too familiar with them. But let me see. Honestly, if you want my honest answer, I would say my team, VRG Gods. I don't think that we should be losing all these games. I think on paper we're a very solid team, but you know, we haven't gotten there yet. But I think we certainly will. So, I mean, we've lost a lot of rough games, but we also lost a lot of close games. So, I think on paper, my team and I think we're good. But you know, we're still trying to find that win. I think we can definitely make up for it. So, honestly, for my answer, I would have to say my team. How about you, Jen?
Well, I was kind of looking through. I can't even vouch for MNG teams because a lot of my teammates and former players I had played with have either scattered or don't play for MNG.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to know a power team within MNG. Part of me wants to say that the B team has a really good stack team, but like this is just me going off of you know, placements and rankings and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but like for the teams that are sitting on the bottom half or lower half of their respective divisions, it's like hard for me to be like, okay, well, they got this guy because I've never seen or played with them. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I would go along the lines with what Pac was saying because I have played with Vincent before. So the fact that Vincent isn't able to secure more wins than he's definitely capable of for that team kind of tells me that either there's some improvements to be made on that team's performance or just overall game play, or maybe they're just like absolutely running it down and Vincent just, his back is too old and you can't hold him up. Shout out to Vincent.
Yeah. Well, Doki, thank you for your question. We're going to look at another question. I think we should look at... I kind of like Espionage's Jinx question, which is, now that we are done with first round robin, which team surprised you and which teams do you expect to do better the second round robin? So it's kind of a two-parter. So he says... So the first part, which teams? Well, actually, he said teams. So I guess we can just do like one team and then one team. So he wants to know, since we're done with the first round robin, we're in the second half now. Which team or teams surprised us? And then the second part would be, who do we think will do better the second half of the season? So let me take a look at the standings again because there are a few surprises. So I'm gonna dissect the first part of the question where he asked what team surprised you in the first round robin. Unless someone wants to go before me, because I'm trying to find a team that actually like surprised me that is doing really good.
The B team, 100%.
Okay.
So aside from the NHL Golden Knights being an expansionary team, I think the B team being an expansionary team, with like, I think they have new players. Maybe they had one veteran player, I think, one or two, but usually expansionary teams especially in League, have a lot of growing pains and a lot of synergy problems, or they don't exactly have that trust element. And so I think it's like a lot of expansionary teams, especially the B team, are doing really well, considering that without that synergy, without that trust, or without that veterancy from most of the players, it's really volatile as to how the games will play out. Like they might not trust calls or go in right away. Some might be hesitant, right? But it looks like the B team taking first right now is like they're doing really well for themselves, being a brand new team as far as I'm concerned, right? So B team is on my list for sure.
What do you think, Barry?
I'm gonna go with Mad.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Madarars. I was gonna say a surprise to me, considering this is another branch out of one of their teams, and it's not their primary team they've been running with for the past 2 seasons that they've been in Legends division. Even though this time they're participating within the Masters division, I would say they're surprising me as far as the standings, because you have teams within this division like COG by Week, which is another iteration of COG, Espionage, and then Boost Bonobos, which was talked up really like a lot, and then the veterans of Gods and Apple Bottom Boys. So they're making a name for themselves within this division. I'm very surprised. And for the second part of that question, to answer it real quick, I think Warriors is going to be the team to bounce back. I think having the iteration of Gemini and everything else with that team going on right now, I think they're going to be able to shift their way towards the top of the standings on the second half of this, Robin.
So I was going to say, I have the same answer for you as the first part. What surprised me, Mad Roars. I mean, we played them first, and they actually showed up like huge that day, so they are definitely doing really good. They're in second right now. So for the first part, they definitely are the team that surprised me, Mad Roars, in the Masters division. Now, in terms of the second part of the question, who do we think will do better in the second round with Robin? So, let the round look good. So I think. So, I think the Power Rangers are going to do better in the second round robin. Now, they're tied for second right now, but if we remember, this is the same 5 as last time. They were also the team that went undefeated in the regular season. So, I can't say I'm surprised that I see that they lost 2 games. I mean, it's 2 games. They also lost a very, very close game against TEG, who is in first right now. But I expect the Power Rangers to do even better than 5-2 right now. Like, I actually think they're going to finish. Definitely give TEG a run for their money, but I think they're going to do even better in the second half of the season. So we will wrap up the show with one more question. This is coming from Sensitive Clown. Any dark horse teams? Now, it's a little vague, dark horse teams, but I think we're going to phrase that in terms of what team do we think is going to, like, just make it all the way. I'd like to phrase it in who's going to do good in Grand Tourney. Because you could say a dark horse team for, like, a division, but I think dark horse team should encapsulate the whole league as it's one entity. So,
right.
Any dark horse teams. So, I don't know if one of you guys wants to pick that first. I might have to think about my question, or my answer. I definitely do have a few ideas as to who my dark horse team would be. I think we should phrase it as a team that maybe not a lot of us knows, maybe like a new team or a team that has existed but hasn't met expectations yet. But I think we should phrase it in terms of Grand Tourney. What team do we think is just going to take off in Grand Tourney and take the whole thing? Maybe a team that not many people would expect.
Well, in order to get paid, I'm going to say VRT Warriors.
Too funny. Ha ha ha. Honestly,
standing behind me with a gun.
Yeah, exactly. To not say Titans, because they've been within the league, they made it to Grand Tourney last season. They would definitely be my dark horse, just straight up, like, wants to go right back into Grand Tournament with high hopes and nothing but wins under their belt. But if I were to say someone different, I'm gonna keep on riding the Eden's Desert Rose horse, in the sense that I think the 6-0 speaks for itself when it's going to go into Grand Tournament. They're probably going to take this division and run with it into the Grand Tournament, no matter where they're seated. whether it's with another champion of a different division or another first, second, or third season. It just depends. But they're probably going to be the ones to ride this out, besides Titans.
So, I think that my dark horse team. So if we're phrasing it for Grand Tourney, I think my dark horse team would actually have to be Synergy in Warriors. They were, they made finals in preseason, I believe. Faced Darbles. So, I mean,
Yep.
that may not seem like a dark horse team. I mean, the first time around they made finals of preseason, and they're 5-2 right now. But I think they're gonna kind of coast the way they are right now. But I think when it comes to Grand Tournament, I think they're gonna really start to pop off there. So my dark horse team would have to actually have to be Synergy from the Warriors division. I mean, the Warriors division, we've talked about it before. I think they're still pretty stacked. I mean, we did answer a question last week on whether or not we think Warriors is still stacked, and I think they still are home to definitely the most dark horse teams for sure, in my opinion, if I had to answer. But with that said, we are going to put a close on this episode. It's been a long one. It's been a very good one. We want to thank Gemini for joining us. Thank you, sir, for joining us for this episode. Welcome back to LAS, and hopefully you can get a banner for BRG. Hope you enjoy. It's been a good episode. We talked about a whole lot of stuff. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for your questions. If we didn't get to your question this time around, we'll definitely save it for a
load us
episode.
up.
Yeah, literally
give us a lot of questions.
Load it up. Give us some good ones. We will get
Silly
to your question,
ones,
I'm sure.
regular ones, anything about LAS, anything outside of LAS, we'll be willing to answer it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Burgers or dogs. I don't know, something silly as that. I mean, we answered a question about a Tootsie Pop last time, so
exactly.
we will answer
Hot
some
dogs.
silly ones. Yeah.
Don't get too silly.
Yeah. Don't get too silly. We'll still pick some sillies, but obviously we like LAS themed ones. But we always like to pick a silly one. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. We are back with more LAS action on Sunday, or depending on when this comes out. For sure, obviously on Sunday we play games. So be on the lookout for the streaming schedule. We have a nice stream schedule thanks to Combuster, who put together an idea of which teams will be streamed. And go LAS. Good luck to all the teams playing every Sunday. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you for episode number 3. Take care.